How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Amityville Island. This is from 2020. It was directed by Mark Polonia and stars Danielle Donahue, Jamie Morgan, and Jeff Kirkendall. Now, I was really excited when I first saw this cover. I watch a ton of bad Amityville movies, and I watch a ton of bad shark movies. And this cover promised to combine the two of them together. And the idea makes sense. Amityville's a real town, anyone can set their movie there, and you can have an Amityville mockbuster. But in Jaws, the island they were on was Amity Island. So it's not that big of a stretch to go from Amity Island to Amityville Island. Plus, the real Amityville house backs up to the water. Just put some beachgoers there, throw in a shark. How could you possibly miss on this one? They missed on this one. This is a lie. It's a flat out lie. And I know that covers and titles to low budget movies exaggerate, but this crosses the line from exaggeration into lying. And the thing is, this is barely an Amityville movie, but it is really not a shark movie. There's one scene with a shark in it, just one scene that's like about a minute long. Basically, the Amityville evil can bounce between things. It bounces into the shark, it eats a guy, end scene, move on. What is this movie really? It kind of wants to be a woman in prison movie, but then it's really like a mad scientist movie, and it doesn't do any of the fun tropes from either of those genres. It's just so inept. This is one of those movies, it really feels like a 5-year-old made it. And I know the Polonia brothers have a reputation, and I've seen a few of their films. This is still bad for their standards. It just doesn't make much sense. Characters act not in ways that people do. And the whole thing is not just cheap, but has a very, very lazy feel behind it. And you could say, oh, so it's a so bad it's good cheesy movie? And maybe some people will be able to enjoy it in that regard, but two things really keep it from being an enjoyable bad movie. One, there's absolutely no effort here, so when something intense has to happen, it usually just relies on stock footage and quick cuts. And that's not super fun and entertaining. You can't laugh at the bad movie when the bad movie's just sitting there doing nothing. And second, you know what they're doing at the lab? Forced impregnation of super soldier babies. You can't really have fun with a forced impregnation movie. That is a dark and serious subject that should be reserved in straight up horror. But no, we're gonna try to have fun with our cheesy forced impregnation movie. It's just bad. It's mainly people talking. There's absolutely no effort into this one. And I can't get anything out of it. And on top of it, it's a lie. I think someone else is going to do an Amityville shark movie later, and fingers crossed, not necessarily that it's good. I would love if it was good. But at this point, I'm just like, fingers crossed that it's actually an Amityville shark movie instead of a mad scientist movie that doesn't have anything to do with the shark and barely anything to do with Amityville. Lies, not good, don't recommend it. I guess in order to analyze it further, let's talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to take a moment, do a bit of analysis. I'll just be avoiding the end bits. Anyway, we open up with a single mother, and right off the bat, we get a scene that people don't act like this in real life. She sees a yard sale, slams on her brakes, and says, "I'm a single mother, thus I need deals," and scoops everything from the yard sale into a big box and just gets it all indiscriminately. It's like you take the idea, single mothers need deals, and then just kind of run with it without thinking. You just scoop everything into a big box whenever you see a yard sale. That's not how people act. But of course, the stuff was from the Amityville house, and she murders her kids. This is all done off screen because kid actors are hard to work with, and maybe just you hear them as sound effects. Laziness. But moving on, we have that set up, and then the movie gets derailed. It gets derailed pretty hard. Basically, prior to this movie, the director had made a movie called Amityville Exorcism. Not great, but way better than this. And we jump to footage from Amityville Exorcism. I mean, Mr. Party City is there and everything. And it turns out that after Amityville Exorcism, the lady got repossessed and went on a shooting spree and was killed. So much for us Amityville Exorcism fans. Our lead character is dead, and you don't really even get to see it because it's all just stock footage of her, or footage from the last movie. Well, she had a boyfriend. No, not the boyfriend who died in that movie. She just got a new boyfriend between movies. He's a reporter, and he's going to try to investigate the Amityville murders, and he does nothing. Like, for real, you think his plot's going to go somewhere, you think he's gonna help the main characters out. He literally does absolutely no impact on the plot, other than allowing the director to recycle old footage. And that's not even a good idea too, because actors from Amityville Exorcism are in this movie playing different roles. Yay, confusion. Anyway, moving back on to the actual movie, the girl who's possessed is fighting what will end up being our main character. The prison has an underground fight club, and the girl who's possessed, she doesn't look scary. Basically, she barely talks, she walks really slowly, and she smiles like a kid who doesn't know what to do on picture day, and that's the scary possessed person. Not great, but the evil's inside of her, and it will jump to other things when it needs to. Like, it jumps to random animals like the shark to attack these drivers, which still get her to her destination, so these kills were pointless. But basically, she's possessed unless the evil leaves her, and when the evil leaves her, she acts normal. Yet they never tell her she murdered her kids. Maybe someone else did, not in the movie, but you think that's some dramatic weight you'd have to deal with whenever you snapped out of it. Or no. Like, who's gonna tell her? Whenever she snaps out for a little bit of time, who's gonna tell her that her kids are dead? The movie doesn't address it, because, you know, drama that we could use to make a scene? Screw that. Anyway, the two ladies are sent from Fight Club to the Experiment Island, and basically they're going to be forcefully impregnated with a super soldier. So, yay, get ready for a bad actor to say the word uterus a bunch of times. There's other things that goes on because, like, one of the doctors is like a pervert and the other doctor just doesn't have human emotion, and there's like video files they find about one of the old patients. Nothing interesting, it's mainly just talking. And as an example to how lazy this movie is, there's actually a scene where they're put into their cell, but their cell is just some little room that they found. They don't have beds, and the actresses have to pretend like they're going to sleep on these weird little plastic chairs. Like, you couldn't have bought a cot from a camping store and put that in the corner? There's something else in the corner that they couldn't move and just threw a sheet on. This is like peak lazy tier stuff, but eventually they're gonna try to break out, and I guess the Amityville Evil doesn't want to be there either because it's gonna jump into a few other things and make it easier. So the Amityville Evil is kind of being helpful now, which is weird, but it doesn't go anywhere. The movie doesn't have anything enjoyable because it's putting forth so minimal effort. Nothing really interesting happens. You can look at it and see, wow, they found the absolute cheapest way to do some of these concepts, and that's about the most interesting thing here. It's really not good. It's, again, barely an Amityville movie. Like, you know, she gets something from a garage sale at Amityville, and now we get Mr. Party City jumping into random stuff. And then again, one shark scene. I've seen a ton of bad movies, and I know the exaggeration, and I know they're bad. Still, this one is a flat-out lie, and it's one of the worst. I don't recommend this. Don't watch it. It's not good, and this is from someone who's been pretty lenient in the past. Anyway, though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist at the bottom. This should be my Amityville playlist. If you want to see me talk about other Amityville movies, including Amityville Exorcism, which, same director, not near as bad, still bad though. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist here. Have a good day now.